Hello, dear friends. It seems that we have come to a time in history where it is time to put a closure on the old, outdated systems, the old, outdated false matrix. Yes. From what I hear from many astrologers and channelers and teachers, people who are very tuned in to the energies, probably more so or in more detail than I am. So I do receive information from some, as I'm sure you do too. And there seems to be kind of a tendency where an agreement that, especially this week that we're in now, and also especially the next week and then January, it sounds like we're going to go through some really, really major changes. And if you're anything like me, you may already be very, very aware of them and notice that it can be a little challenging, right? But I want to see if we can stitch this back to what I talked about yesterday and maybe the day or the day before about silence. It feels like as this insanity out there is collapsing, and if you're able to not, try and grab onto things and figure out what's happening and try and patch it back together and blame this one and blame that one, if you can just leave that and not touch it. I did a video on that a while ago. Don't touch it to the best you can. Then we can start dropping in to what is real. And it's like we can learn to make silence our new home. I think it was yesterday where I talked about how there's so much talking, talking, talking. And the more we talk, the less we are in touch with the silence for most people. I know there are some who are deeply in touch with the silence and who are also very capable of talking a lot without losing that connection. So nobody is the same. We all have our specific frequencies, specific challenges to go through. But where we are now in history, her story, her story. We are moving into her story more, the divine feminine, where it is more about the flow, the presence, the stillness. The stillness really is the presence. It is our home. It is who we are. And that is where we are being guided back to. We all have plenty of layers of static energy, is how I often experience it in myself. It's just this static. And I know it's not me. And many times I can't do anything about it except do my very best to stay here while this is doing its crazy thing and wanting me to be pulled into it. So it's been a very powerful practice for me for a long time to just not touch it. I'm not always able to. Sometimes it's, and especially at night or early morning, then it can be really intense. You might relate. And so I have given myself permission a long time ago, and I'm hoping you can give yourself permission for that too, that it's enough to do our best. It's enough if I do my best. And it's enough if you do your best. That's all we can do. Imagine this, we're going through literally a tornado or some kind of a hurricane where everything is being rooted out and pushed around. And then if we think like, oh, if we can just sit there and ohm our way through it, which would be great if you can do it. But you might be able to do one ohm and then you're just all over the place again. And then, oh, and you come back. Okay, let me come back to the stillness. Let me come back to the presence. This is what most of us are going through. And I have heard some people who are quite influential, actually, they are saying the same. They're saying the same. It's like the night, I'm awake half the night, and there's these old thoughts and negativity and craziness. And when I heard that, it was a really nice confirmation. It's like, okay, it's not just me. And that's why, of course, I'm sharing it here with you. If you have this happening also, no, it is not just you. It is not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that you're never going to get out of this static insanity. It's just that it is a purification phase that we're in right now. And in one way, there's not much we can do about it. And in one way, there's a lot we can do about it, and that is to hold our intention to stay in the center of the circle or the eye of the hurricane. Just doing your best. What else can you do, right? So if we can just do our best when all this is swirling around and we come in once in a while, it's like, oh, that's right. Oh, this is what's true. And then, woo, off we go again. They're like, whoa, come back again. So this seems to be what's happening for a lot of people. And, I think it's nice to hear that other people are going through the same, that it's not just me. It gives me a sense of, I can relax a little more. And because that voice that says, you should be able to do this or whatever, which I'm not interested in any way, but it's still there, part of that static, right? So it's not just the stuff in us that needs to come out and be released. It's also that whole commentary that wants us to engage in it so we stay identified and attached to it. So there's a lot to not touch, right? It's not touching the stuff that comes up, and it's not touching the commentary about it. It's like learning to slip through those cracks and come home. Come home to stillness. Come home to stillness. Come home to stillness. Now. And every time you're able to, every time you remember it, you just do your best. When we consciously know and tell ourselves that I'm really doing my best, you are in your presence, because the static would never tell you that. It would never say, yeah, it's you're doing your best, it's enough. No, it's going to tell you need to do more, you're doing it wrong, right? So if you can find that place, here, the stillness, and knowing you are doing your best, because you are. If you could do any better, I'm sure you would, don't you think? So you just come back, and that moment, you will notice something relaxes a little bit. It's like, yeah, I'm doing my very best. I think as I'm saying that, it feels like then I let go of that static that tells me I need to do more, I need to deal with it. It's like, no, I'm doing my best. That means I'm not engaging with any of that. I'm staying here and practicing making silence my home. Whereas for a long time we have made the false matrix our home. And it was very difficult, I would say almost impossible to not engage with it. Like now we are more able to do that. But back then we didn't really have enough presence and consciousness to be in our sovereignty and say, no, not for me. We didn't have that my will connected to thy will. It was just like this static stuff going on, like a whirlwind that everybody was just going through and bumping up against each other and literally without a clear direction or a clear steering wheel or whatever. But we have much more access to that now in a way that I would say we have not had before, except maybe a few people who came into this world to plant seeds, energetic seeds, for us to start waking up to that presence that we are, to the blueprint, to our blueprint. So they came down where they were able to stay connected with their blueprint. And in that, they were able to plant the seeds wherever they would go. I remember I was with some of the spiritual teachers in the early days, and some of them would actually say that they would travel to specific areas to present their teachings. But they also said that they were planting energetic seeds for awakening. And that is what we are reaping. We are reaping those fruits now from those seeds that were planted because they have been growing energetically. And we have been living in that new energy, and we have been able to more and more connect with those energies and realize that that is actually who we are. So the invitation is, I always like to offer an invitation in my videos. The invitation is choose to make silence your new home. Even right now, choose to make silence your new home. And that is where we want to go when things get crazy, right? It's like when you're out in a storm, you want to just go home, right? Because it's safe there. So as it gets crazier out there, do your best to come back home. Be still. Make stillness and silence your home and let it have you. When you choose to go this direction with an openness, you will start feeling a pull, a longing, a pull, how you really want that. Stay there and let it have you. The more you feel the Yes, I want this. And you go and stay in that, yes, I want this. It's like you open a portal inside of you and you can be pulled deep into that portal just because you're saying yes to it. So let's say yes to silence, yes to silence as our home. Go to the door of our home and say yes, and the door will open. It is because we have been saying no that the door has been closed. Because we've been out there, we didn't even know there was a door. But now we do, right? Now we are beginning to remember who we are, what we are, why we're here. We start to remember it again. And then we can go and say yes to it. And then, of course, you realize the door, there was never a door because we had just turned away from it. But now we can turn back and realize that the silence is our home and it is who and what we are. So, my friends, let's spend a lot of time there, especially the next weeks, month. Let's spend a lot of time there. You'll be glad you did. Thank you so much for joining me.